Hello and welcome to this Android event tutorial brought to you by North Border Tech Training. My name is Gary, and in this tutorial we're going to look at how to program the Android video view. Now, the video view is useful for streaming videos from the internet or loading videos in from the media store, and they can be played within that view. So very useful in today's multimedia apps. This will be a beginner level tutorial, and I'll be programming this in Java. I will be transitioning to Kotlin through 2018, so I will be actually doing a Kotlin version of this particular tutorial, so just keep an eye out for that. Anyway, let's get straight on with the programming and let's start a new project. I'm just going to call this video view, and it will compile against Android 8, but we'll use a minimum of Lollipop here, just to make sure we can capture as many devices as we can. I'm just going to use an empty activity here. We just don't want to have any clutter in terms of code within the activity. Okay, that's finished building now. So we need to do some preparation work. There's just one change I want to make to the Android manifest. We're going to put a tag in just here, and it will be Android configuration changes equals orientation. The reason I'm putting this in is to really inform the application that we're going to be rotating the screen. If we leave that out, when we actually rotate the screen, the onCreate method will be called again. We don't really want that. If we're in the middle of playing our video, we want to have a situation where we just resume the video at that particular point. We don't want to start the whole thing again and initiate the whole thing again and load the video in again. So we're going to put this tag here, prevents that from happening. So what we can do now, we'll go on to the well, not the main activity. We need to just create a layout now. Okay, so I want to just make sure we've got the auto connect on, really, because it's just going to drop a video view into the layout itself. Let's just get rid of this text view, and let's just look for the video view. There we are. So we'll just drop this into the middle and just make sure that works fully, and we'll just change the ID here to I like to give them this one the double V for video view, so it gives me a clear indication what the view is. And when we look for the ID there, we'll just call it video view. Actually, let's make it full. So yeah, we'll just call it VV video view, and we'll just leave it at actually no, we'll change, this is in portrait mode, so we want the width to match the parent, match constraint. Actually want to make that match parent, so let's just change that there. Okay, so what we're going to do now, we need to create basically a layout for the landscape. So we need to create a folder for the landscape layout. So what we can do, we can go to the project files here, and if you right click over the resource folder here, we can create a new Android resource directory, and we'll make this type layout, and we're going to call it layout land. And if you just select orientation and just move it into this area here and just create landscape, it just gives the folder a few properties, and you'll see we've got a new directory here. So what we can actually do is just copy the main activity, the activity main layout, and we'll just paste it in there. Just give it the same name. Let's just open that up, We just need to change the properties here. So we'll make this one now wrap content. And we'll make this one match appearance. So actually, before we get on to the Java coding, we want to actually just load a video in place. Now you can download these from the internet. I'll show you what you need to do if you want to use the video view with the internet, and if you do that as well, you'll need to set the internet permissions in the manifest. You could also load them in from the media store, but this is really going to add extra time for the tutorial. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create what we call a raw directory. So it's a folder we just need to create here. So again, just right click over the resources. I'm just going to create a new directory, and I'm just going to call it raw. This sort of folder is a place where we can put videos, we can put audio clips, that sort of thing, if we're using them within our apps. Now I do have a test video here, so I'm just going to copy this video, and all I need to do is go to the raw folder and just paste it in there. So that's all locally loaded now, so it'll be a lot more streamlined, and also keep the tutorial down to a reasonable length of time as well. So now we're actually going to go on with the Java coding, and what we'll do is just start off by creating a few objects. The first object will be for the video view itself. So we're going to make them private because we just want them contained within this application. We don't really want them to be opened up globally, so we'll make them private to the class. It'll be a video view, and we'll just call it video view. Very imaginative. And we also want to have an integer value representing the position of the video in terms of playback. So we're going to set this initially to 0, and as the video progresses, then that position will increment, and we can call on that position when we actually change the orientation of the screen. So we'll ensure that we start the playback again at the relevant position in the playback and not from the beginning. So let's just set that. Set that equal to 0, and we want some media controls, play buttons, pause buttons, rewind, that sort of thing. So let's just put that in, and we use the media controller for that, and we just call them media controls. Okay, so what we want to do now is just initiate the video view using the find view by ID method. And we'll just cast that as a video view. So we want to set the media controls. Now we only want to do this if they haven't been set, so we'll just do a check to see if the media controls are equal to null, and if they are, then we'll just make a new object of the media controls. Okay, so what we need to do is set the associate the media controls with the video view. So we just need to do one line of code to do that. We just need to call the set media controller method and just pass a parameter of media controls to that. So that just ties the play pause buttons to the video itself. So now one of the critical parts, we need to point the video view to the URI of the video itself. So here we've actually got this in the raw directory, so we'll make that association. We could actually put an internet based URL here, So it'd just be a string of HTTPS, whatever the website is, with the video file name. Obviously, remember, if you're doing that, then set the internet permissions in the Android manifest. But at the moment, we're just going to set the video URI to point to the test video we just put in the raw directory. Just need to say URI.parse, and then we just put the string in to represent the URI. So here we need to just put Android resource in quotations, and just need to get the package name. Just make sure that's outside the quotations. Get package name, and then we just need to append it with the information about the raw directory. So it will now just be r.raw test video. Okay, so if that's all incorrectly, then you won't get any errors, so just import that there. Good. So what I would do here, although it's not forcing you to do it, I would actually just surround these two statements with a try and a catch. Anything we're calling on in terms of the internet, or actually going to try and get a file from this raw directory, if that file's not there, we want the application to be able to handle the errors. So although it's not forcing us, I think it's good practice really just to put a try and a catch here. So let's just make sure we paste this information in here, and just tidy it up a little bit, and there it is here because it's looking for a catch. And we normally just say put the exception in here, so it'll be exception, and just call it E. And the standard terminology put is we're just going to log it to the catalog, so it'll be the error, whatever the message is, and we use the get message method to actually get the specifics of the problem. So let's just log that to the error log, and it'll be e dot, it'll be get message. We just need to import that. So yep, that's just a way of handling the try and a catch to make sure that the video actually loads properly and we don't crash the app. Okay, so what we want to do now is just come down here. We're just going to make sure that the video view has the focus, so we're just going to request focus for the video view. Just get to force the focus onto the video view. Right, so one of the tricky things we need to do now, we need to set an unprepared listener. What we're going to do, we don't really want to start the playback until the video is actually fully loaded. So we actually use an unprepared listener for that, and when the video is prepared, we call a callback method which is onPrepare, and then we just really move the position to the appropriate point in the video, and then start the playback. There may be a situation if we're resuming the app that the video is actually paused, so we'll just check for that as well. So but let's just set up the onPrepared listener. Let's just set onPrepared listener, and it'll be on new media player onPrepared listener. Let's make sure I spell new right. And let's just auto-populated the code. So we just need to write some code in here to initiate the playback of the video. So what I want to do is just seek or move the pointer, the video controls to the actual position in the video. So what we can do is just say video view. The method we want to call is seek to, and we'll just make that position. And what we'll say, if the position is 0, that's the start of the video, we'll start the playback. It'll just be video view dot start. So it's as simple as that. Else, if we're coming in from a resumed activity, the video playback will be paused. So the other situation we want to capture is just the situation where it's paused. So let's just make sure we continue to keep that pause until we hit the playback button, and it'll be pause. Okay, so that's most of the things done. Just a couple of other methods we need to put in, and these are worth making real note of. We talked about screen orientation. We need to make sure we capture the instances properly where we rotate from portrait to landscape. So we actually use two methods. The first would be on saved instant state, and when the rotation's finished, then we have an on restore instant state. So we need to put these two callback methods in, and we'll just look at the coding associated with those. Let's just get the callback methods in place. So we can just literally just type on saved. We're looking for on saved instant state. Now it says out state here. You don't have to change this, but I prefer just to keep everything consistent and just change this to saved instant states. Okay, saved instant state, and just make sure this one represents saved instant state. What we're trying to do is prevent the video starting the game from the beginning when we actually change the orientation of the screen. So when we start the screen rotation, we want to actually get the current position of the video, and we'll save that in the saved instant state. And obviously when we restore, we'll look for that position and ensure the video view seek to method is called to actually move it to that particular position. So there's really just a couple of lines of code we need to put in, and it's saved instant state, and we want to put an integer value in there. We need to put it in as a key value pair. So let's just make the key position, call it anything you like, and we want to look for the video view, and we want to get the current position. Get current position. Okay, so and then we just need to pause the video. Okay, so that's that particular method done. We just need to put in the on restored instant state. So on restored instant state, you can see that's put in the saved instant state for us automatically. So we want to go and get the position. So it would be, and let's just make the integer value we set earlier position to that value. So it would be position. We want to make this equal to the saved instant state. We just want to get the integer value which we put in, and that will be the key position. So just make it position. Okay, we just need to move the video playback to that particular position. So it'll be video view, and seek to we'll just put it to position. One thing you really do need to do is make sure that these values for the keys are actually spelled correctly. You can see I've just made a mistake there, so let's just make sure that these keys will work, otherwise we won't get this seeking through. That's the programming finished. Let's just have a quick review. Just zoom in so you can see the code in full. Okay, so we started off by creating some objects here, the video view, and one for the position representing where we are in the playback, and one for the media controls. We just did some basic things of setting the view by IDs, which we did there, and then we set the media controls up. If they don't exist, we'll set a new object of the media controls. That's the fast forward, playback, pause buttons. The critical thing here is associate the media controls to the video view, and then looking for the actual video itself. This could be the internet, this could be an internet URL here. If you do that, just make sure you set the internet permissions in the Android manifest, but we just put a file in the raw folder called test video. Once we request focus, then we need to let the video load before we actually play it back. So we set an onPrepared listener, so when it's ready, the onPrepared callback method is actually called, and we're looking for two things. If the position is 0, we know it's at the start of the video and we'll just start the playback. If it's somewhere else, then the video is likely to have been paused, so we'll just pause the video and then we'll start it manually. Just going through here, then these two methods handle the screen rotation. So when we rotate the screen from portrait to landscape, we don't want the video to start from the beginning again. We do that just by capturing the position of the video when the rotation is done, and we put it in the saved instance state, and obviously then we just get that position when the rotation is complete, and we just move the video playback to that particular position. Good. So all we need to do now is test that. I'm going to test on the emulator. You might get a smoother performance on a real device, but for now I'll just test it on the emulator. Okay, the emulator is loaded and the app is here, so let's just start it up, and you'll see it's just playing the video nicely. Let's just pause that just to make sure those things are working, and there's the fast forward and the rewind working. Let's just play that again, and let's just rotate the device. I can see, although it's paused, it's actually not gone back to the beginning, it's at the appropriate point in the playback, so we can just resume that. Okay, and you can see the pause is working fine, so let's just rotate the device fully around and play that. Good, so that's actually fully working. I hope you found this tutorial useful. It's just a basic beginner one looking at the video view. Look out for the Kotlin version of this tutorial as well. I'm really excited to be looking at Kotlin this year, so look out for those. So hope you found this one useful, and catch you in the next one. Bye for now. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe if you find this tutorial useful. All the project files and source code are available for download on my website. Thank you.